For the fourth time in this game, the Soviets will have the power play. McKenzie is sent off for hooking at 13:52. Mahavlich with Poole, Tremblay, and Stapleton on the ice in an attempt to kill the 2-minute penalty sentence. Here's Petrov on the right side with Harlamov reaching the Canadian line. Drop pass back. Stick check by Mahavlich on Harlamov. They jam together. They freeze it for a face-off. We have 5 minutes and 52 seconds to play in the period. It's 1-all. This is game 5. The 6th game is coming up on Thursday night, Moscow time. Thursday morning or afternoon, depending on where you live across Canada. Then on Saturday and Sunday, the wind-up game. Matt Stapleton will exchange 6 at the bench. Fans getting on them for what they feel is a delaying tactic to give Team Canada a little extra wind here to kill off this penalty, which has 1 minute and 44 remaining. Mahavlich on the face-off against Petrov. Down the right side comes Vasiliev. Vasiliev centers it. Milov couldn't reach it. Rejan over the now ahead to Frank Mahavlich. Mahavlich stops. He'll get it back to Pat Stapleton. They play that long 4-man box as long as they can in an attempt to kill the penalty off. Over to Pat Stapleton. Ahead for Rejan by him and down the ice. Minute 20 left now at Mackenzie's penalty. Milov at the blue line. Passing it ahead for Harlamov inside the Canadian line. Left side for Petrov across the goal mouth. Intercepted and caught by Jerry Cheevers.
And Harlamov got the puck bad pass right into his skate, right up onto his stick, and as a result, the Russians get a pretty good shot in the net. You know, as I watched this game tonight, the people who viewed the NHL years ago, Bill Schmidt, Elmer Locke, Ted Lindsay, Jimmy Thompson, they love this kind of game. All fellas stick.
Well, the action has been exciting. The first period entirely physical, but the skating has improved. The opportunities end-to-end have picked up here in the second period. Now, just past 9 o'clock Moscow time, we have about 5 minutes to play in this period, and the score is 1-all. A reminder that tonight's game will be telecast tonight in Canada on a repeat basis. For those who missed it this afternoon live, check your time in your area, and the station that will be carrying the replay of this 5th game of the Canada-Soviet series. The Soviets now make a late change. Gankov is set out there to round out their power play, and now Jerry Cheevers wanted to delay things a little further, but the Soviets now get it away in the faceoff. Shadrin left it there, golfed through the line, held in by Gankov. Hard shot, just wide. Big rebound in front, loose on around the goal. Just rolled wide. Maltsev back for Lechenko. His high, hard drive went off the plexiglass. Cheevers just getting his goal stick back now. Shadrin in front, they score! Maltsev!
Watch the Russians sneak in behind here. This is the key. See him come in? The man in the top of the circle. He's the fellow that has to come in and pick him up. There you see Cheevers get his stick. Now watch this, how they eliminate Stapleton. Now they've got JC in front. The pass goes through the crease. Someone has to pick that man up. It's a patch that Russians play extremely well. The only way to stop it is the man on top come back and pick him up.
Maltsev from Shadrin at 15:04 on the Soviet power play. Well, McKenzie is in line for looking. And the Soviets now lead 2-1.
USSR goal scored by Alexander Marks, the number 10. Assist Jimmer Mikulov.
Here it comes again. The shot that Cheevers had no chance on at all.
All right, now back to the live action here in Moscow. 2-1 for the Soviets. Smith digs it out to Webster. Off the boards for Mike Walton. Walton swings inside the Soviet line. Stops the pass to Paul Henderson. He couldn't hang on to it. The Russian team comes back at center ice. Schmier takes a long run at number 19, Shadrin. Over on the left board. Shadilov across the blue line. A weak shot handled by Jerry Cheevers. Smith for Webster. Webster out for Henderson. Henderson now swings away at center ice with Mike Walton. Tom Webster back to Walton. Oh, he couldn't get it over to Webster. Went off the skate of the Soviet player Shadilov. They clear, but Webster keeps it in there. A bump against number 21 Shadilov. Now finally Lebedev with it against Henderson. He can't work a free. The Canadians now putting some pressure on the Soviets in their zone. Golfed out to center ice for Lebedev. He lost it there to Schmier and now to Henderson. For Walton. Walton side up. Chadwick comes away on the left side now with Lebedev. Rick Smith contained him. Walton comes up with it. Gives the puck to Webster. He shoots it across the ice and down. And Team Canada is called for icing. With 3:40 remaining. You know, on that goal, the second goal of the Soviet series, Severs had just recovered his goal stick after that big pileup of the previous play. He had to retrieve it from the mesh now. It was just getting nicely settled.
And that's just what happened to Team Canada.
The players were cautioned against that by Billy Harris. McKenzie had a couple of Vancouver, now here the one in this game today, and he'll be giving his second thoughts, I'm sure, as we go the rest of the way with 3:25 to play. And the Soviet zone, the USSR bringing it out. Here's an easy pass for Michelot. Michelot is tied up by Ricky Lay. Now Bobby Hull has it. Hull with McKenzie and Lacroix 3-on-2 inside the line for Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie drifted in front. Kretschak has it with a glove hand. 3:07 left now. A 2-1 game which the Soviets lead. Maltsev has both their goals. Gordie Howe for Canada early in the second period with the only Canadian score so far. McKenzie wants to skate over and ask referee Suzuki something. Suzuki from Poland speaks quite good English. Now he settles into the face-off. It's tipped back. Picks up to the Soviet Union at center ice. Cross the line is Michelot, and that was ruled offside. He breaks so quickly that it's difficult to get the timing going with the great burst of skating speed they show. He's had offsides of that nature at both ends.
I think, too, you should keep an eye on number 11, Lebedev. He's gone in on Rick Smith 2 or 3 times tonight. He tips it to the outside, puts the puck behind him, and then tries to pick the puck back up again. He's made just 3 great shifts, and Rick Smith hasn't gone for any of them. But sooner or later, he's going to put that puck between his legs.
Matt Stapleton with J.C. Tremblay on the ice now. They play it ahead for Lacroix. To McKenzie on the right side. McKenzie across the Soviet line. Turned around. Lost it finally, and the Russians come back with Mikhailov on the left side against J.C. Tremblay. He turned him back. Now Bobby Hull comes up with it. About 2:40 remaining in this second period. 2-1, the Soviets lead. Lacroix coming out there. A long opportunity at center ice to miss. Mikhailov across the blue line. Gets it back on the far side behind Gusev. Gusev to Mikhailov. Mikhailov for Petrov. And it's broken up by Matt Stapleton. Now they break out of there. Lacroix ahead to Bobby Hull. Oh, tipped away by Gusev. Hull chasing it down beside the Soviet net against 2 defenders. Off the boards. They get it out again very promptly inside Canada's line. Stapleton ahead for Bobby Hull. And it's played right back down beside Jerry Peters. Here's Hull to Bernier. Now Rejean Houle is changing on the go. Back for Bernier. His shot blocked by Kretschak. And the rebound, he couldn't get out to Hull. Houle into the left corner now. Bumped there by Vasiliev. Will try to tie it up. Bernier works it free. Up the board. Bernier has it to Stapleton now. Stapleton getting set. Getting around to the Gankov. Back in front. Rebound. No. Off the skate of Bernier and finally clear. Minute and a half left in period 2. Petrov in across the line. Right in front of the goal for Harlamov. Mikhailov still loose. And Stapleton finally cleared off to the boards. Harlamov back to Vasiliev. Vasiliev, the deflection was wide by Mikhailov. Rejean Houle fails to clear. Over for Mikhailov against Bernier. To Harlamov right in front. And Chivas goes on it. To hang on as Mahavlich promptly cleared number 16 Petrov out of the way. Now the Soviet player takes a swipe at Bernier. Harlamov actually threw a punch at Serge Bernier, or what might pass for one under international hockey rules or hockey concepts. And there'll each be a roughing penalty. Bernier for Canada and Harlamov for the Soviet Union.
The last two or three shifts, Team Canada has been going for the puck. If there's a real good chance there, the pass went from Bernier to Houle and hit Houle's skate and almost in the net. Kretschak was in the right place at the right time. But again, Team Canada in our own end are starting to fish for the puck instead of take the man, and we're giving the Russia that second and third opportunity, and eventually it's got to hurt them.
There's Varlamov. He's had a tough night with that cut. Into a lot of the physical action in this game, bouncing around the ice. He and Bernier getting centers up a little bit so they go off at 18:52 roughing. So with a minute and 8 seconds to play in the second period, the Soviets leading by a 2-1 score. The face-off in the Canadian zone. It'll be Shadrin on the draw against Frank Mahovlich. Pat Stapleton's back talking with the referee Zapecki there at the top of your picture, delaying things for a moment. You may recall the last time the teams played here, there was not glass around the back of the net. Of course, they have that in now, the plexiglass, instead of the old netting, which was customary for years here in Moscow. Now Mahovlich on the face-off. Lebedev comes up with it. Back to Sagankov. Now Lebedev again. Gets it into Shadrin. Loose puck, and Cheevers pounces right there to hang on. We have now just a minute to play in the second period. Jerry Cheevers, what a super job he has done in this game tonight for Team Canada 74. And throughout the series, for that matter. Face-off came as Canadians were changing, sending Backstrom and Howe out there, so they'll repeat it. Tremblay and Stapleton remain. The Soviet foursome remains unchanged. Playing five-a-side. Backstrom on the face-off. Shadrin looking for it with Lebedev. Shadrin back to Sagankov. His shot was wide as Cheevers was screened on the play. Gordie Howe waiting, getting it around to Pat Stapleton. Now to Backstrom. Stapleton did not make a play, gets a second chance and gives it to Ralph Backstrom. Both playing cautiously. Five-a-side, a minute and 20 seconds. No, 30 seconds it is. 30 seconds remaining in the period. The penalties have the longer time to go. Here's Lebedev. Oop, Backstrom got a piece up, but he carries on, and now Stapleton finally makes the check. Pat Stapleton. Fire for Gordie Howe. It's called offside of the Soviet blue line, now with just 11 seconds to play. Backstrom. Lebedev takes it. Neither team willing to make a move, just instead of killing off the time here, settling for a one-goal differential as they get ready for the third period. Now the Soviets come up the ice, and there's the siren to end the 40-minute mark of this hockey game, with the Soviet Union getting a second goal from Montsev at 15:04 in the power play, while McKenzie has taken a hooking penalty for Canada to send them in front. Gordie Howe has tied it up from Backstrom and Markow at the 15-second mark after Motsev's initial goal back in the first period at 5:34. So the Soviet Union a goal up now. And with the score, the Soviets 2, Canada 1. This is Game 5 from Moscow.
Attention sports journalists.
Well, this is a series for sports fans, and we got a combination of sports fans here with us from somewhere in Canada. Where about you folks from?
From Vancouver.
And your name?
Ivan Kramer from Vancouver, North Vancouver.
Did you buy that here?
I traded that for a Canadian flag. My name is Fred Chatham, and I'm from Edmonton.
How about you?
Jim Clark, I'm from Calgary. Kaparuski, good time.
Ken Ronald from Vancouver. Hard to get these hats here.
Listen, where you people been seated?
Over at the far end with
Way up in the
3,000
rafters.
people.
Is that right? And so you had to come all the way?
All the way over here.
Was it tough? We fought the entire Russian army getting here.
How you like the game so far?
It's a little early to tell.
Great game. We've got to check a little
lot of
tougher.
fun?
Little tougher.
Great group of fans. Terrific.
Yeah, a lot of fun, though.
And Russia, great hospitality.
You've been behaving yourselves in...
Oh yes, oh yes. But the Russians are even better.
All right.
Great hospitality.
Very nice to have you with us. Have a good time, and now let's go back out there onto the ice as we go upstairs with Don Chevrier and Howie Maker.
All right, Johnny, and I, for the life of me, don't know why those fans are wearing suits and jackets. It's 75 degrees here in Moscow. It's a little warm in this rink tonight, too. Billy Harris now has his team a goal down with 20 minutes in which to make it up here at the Nicky Stadium in Moscow as the USSR leads by a score of 2-1. Maltsev has both their goals. Gordie Howe has Team Canada's goal, And the shots on goal reflect the tremendous edge in play the Soviets have enjoyed in this game. 19-8 is the total after 2 periods in favor of the USSR. In fact, it had not been for the outstanding, and I really mean outstanding work of Jerry Cheevers, the Canadians might well be out of this game at this stage. Fred Jack at the other end, who is so superb in Canada, has not had a great deal to do, but has handled the 2 or 3 real dangerous scoring opportunities, save the Howe shot that has confronted him tonight. And now here's Maltsev as we begin third period play, as they are a man short from the penalties near the end of the second period. The double penalties, there are 40 seconds remaining, and those are raced for. Cheevers wins with Maltsev, blasts it open net, shot it wide. Cheevers was 30 feet out of the goal. And finally, it's cleared back to center ice and down to the Soviet blue line. Luchenko up to Maltsev. He has been outstanding. He and Houle collide. Houle sweeps in for the puck, drives it down to the right corner. Vikulov in there against Mahavlich. Passes right in front to Segankov. Now about 10 seconds to go in those double penalties. At the blue line, Houle goes for a tumble against Maltsev. Stapleton digs it around the boards for J.C. Tremblay. And now Tremblay starts up. For Houle, too far. The penalized players are back on the ice. Harlamov and Bernier, the team's at full strength. Houle centering it out. Nobody there. The Soviets pick it up. Vikulov sends Harlamov away with Maltsev 2-on-1. Over to Maltsev. Oh, and he went too far. As Stapleton goes sliding into the end board. Tremblay works it down the ice. Finally, it slides with Houle chasing it into the Soviet zone, and they're now going to make a player change in the second minute of this third period.
Don, you make a fundamental error anywhere in the rink. The Russians take advantage of it. It's just amazing the way these people turn a disadvantage into an. Here's, look at, pass just under his stick. A little off the heel of his stick, goes under his stick. Cheevers is down trying to make the save.
Back live now around that Canadian goal. Here's Mikhailov getting a chance. On the board, Howe is bumped. Schmier comes in to help him out, takes over with the puck. Howe is holding Harlamov stick and didn't let it go for about 5 seconds. Now in center ice, number 13, Boris Mikhailov. Up to Valery Harlamov. Harlamov across the blue line. Sweeping in is Mikhailov for the pass. Now here's Gusev over his stick. Too far for Petrov. Mikhailov dumps it in front, and Schmier picks it up. The Soviets just a step behind. Some great scoring formations in front of that Canadian goal. Pass for Howe, batted down by the stick of Gusev. It is offside, and they'll face off just in front of the Soviet blue line.
The Russians are pulling quite a cute trick. Team Canada are picking up their wings and going in deep with them. And when the puck goes into our end very, very deep, then that leaves the spot open on the blue line. And they're sneaking Gusev and they're sneaking Luchenko in time and time again, looking for that pass into the open area.
What you saw a moment ago, too, where you were talking, Howie, was the scoring summary of the game so far in Russian. Now the play at the center ice area for Rick Smith, who's on there with Schmier. They play it across inside the blue line. Swinging around is Howe. Markow is tied up by the Soviet defender Segankov. He gets it up to Bodanov. Across the center ice for Lebedev against Schmier. Shadrin sweeping in there, but it's cleared out to center. Backstrom goes bumping into the boards there against Chatelot. Now across the Soviet line, they cannot get it to Gordie Howe. He has to go back. Howe up to Lacroix. Lacroix to Howe. Howe inside the blue line. Over to Shadrin as the Soviets break it up, and Bodanov and Lebedev, and that is whistled down. There's going to be a penalty, I believe, to Andre Lacroix, who is protesting quite vehemently to the referee, Zepecki. But Lacroix is going off. With the score, the Soviets 2 and Canada 1. This is Game 5 from Moscow. Andre Lacroix goes off for slashing at the 2:46 mark of this final period. The Soviet power play is on the ice once again for the 5th time in this game. And they have 1 goal out of it, their 2nd goal by Maltsev on the power play. They lead it 2-1. Segankov now has the pass broken up by the big man, Frank Mahavlich, who swings away from him back into his own zone. J.C. Tremblay to Pat Stapleton. Now ahead from Mahavlich. He bats it inside the Soviet blue line. Luchenko takes over. Up to Maltsev. Undoubtedly the Soviet star of this game. Maltsev across the blue line. Dropping it back on the right point. Here's Segankov. To Luchenko. Winding up for the shot. Rebound. Great save by Cheevers. Poole in behind his goal, into the corner, golfs it down the ice. With a minute, 10 seconds now remaining in the penalty to Lacroix for slashing. 7th Canadian penalty of this game. Here's Bigelow against Stapleton, was turned away, and they win some more time by shooting it back down the length of this Linicky Sports Stadium ice surface. Zagankov. Backstrom almost stole the puck from him. Slowed him up, but he gets the long pass too far for Bigelow. Now Stapleton off the sideboard, down behind the Soviet goal again, with 40 seconds to go in Andre Lacroix's penalty. Harlamov now starting out, number 17, with Petrov and Mikhailov inside the line. For Mikhailov, the pass behind him. Harlamov gets it back to Gusev at the point. Gusev in the slot in front of Petrov. Oh, and he shot wide and high, as he might have had Cheevers beaten on that play, as Cheevers made a move to his left. At center ice, Backstrom goes to a tumble there. The Canadian bench outraged. No penalty has been called. Here's Gusev carrying on. The shot is caught by Jerry Cheevers, who'll stop it with 9 seconds left in the Claus penalty. But the entire Canadian delegation, the players, the coach Billy Harris, and 2,500 fans left to their feet, and now misconduct has gone out to Ralph Backstrom. The referee did not call the penalty, but has called the misconduct for Backstrom for arguing about it.
The Russian taking dead aim, and Cheevers coming out as he should have. The Russian had no alternative but to shoot the puck, and Cheevers again played it right. The man has just been sensational tonight.
A 10-minute misconduct to Ralph Backstrom comes at the 4:37 mark of this third period. And he was protesting what appeared to be an outrageously flagrant Soviet tripping penalty.
10-minute misconduct penalty.
That type of play has been going on practically all night, and in the main, the referee hasn't called it. I think he's been as fair for one side as the other. Lacroix in the penalty box over there because he didn't slash. He speared the Russian, and he happened to be standing right in front of the official when he did it.
Team Canada feels should have been called because I guess they got a better view of it right in front of their benches where it occurred.
Oh, there's no doubt under normal circumstances it has to be a penalty, but he's let that type of thing go most of the evening.
All right, now with 9 seconds left in Lacroix sentence and Backstrom off for 10 minutes, which is the majority of the balance of this hockey game. Here's the face-off. Bouncing loose in front. Golf to center ice. Gusev with it now for the USSR. To Harlamov. As Lacroix steps back, the teams are at full strength once again. Harlamov was reamed by Stapleton as he crossed the blue line. Slowed him up. Here's Henderson now with Walton. Henderson winding up. High shot was tipped by the stick of Fredchak into the corner. Soviet fans applaud that save. Petrov. Long lead pass broken up by Smith. They try to feed it ahead for Harlamov. He gets it at the blue line. Lets his shot go. Hard drive. Over top. It's on the mesh, and they finally stop the play. He's got a shot, Howie.
He's also got a heart. The little fella has been target for us tonight. There's no doubt about it. Time and time again, he's had the Team Canada members finishing the check on him, and he's come back, and he's just playing terrific hockey. It hasn't slowed him up one step. Just delightful to see a fella play so well when he's being attacked as often as he has.
Well, here's that great shot, and now as we get back to the live action here, the Soviets at center ice, losing it to Paul Schmier. Over on the left side, Henderson could not get around Zagankov. Into the corner goes number 21, Yuri Shatilov. Plays it around on the near boards for Bodanov. He could not clear. Kept in by Smith, who was jacked, and then he swung his stick around and caught the Soviet player Shadrin on the side of the face, and the official was way over in the corner and did not see it. Although it may have been very accidental on Smith's part, a reflex action as he was getting up from a hard check, swung his stick around and caught the Soviet player.
This is the problem when the official is as lax as he has been tonight. It's pretty tough what to call. Obviously, under normal conditions, the Russian charging would have got the penalty. Smith didn't hear the whistle blow, and he took what he thought was an unfair blow, and he come around and swung his stick. I just kind of think Team Canada's losing their cool a little bit. We He's been the attacker most of the evening and has been giving it and receiving it as well. But when we're on the receiving end, we just can't continue to take stupid penalties.
I think they've called a penalty to Shadrin on that. We'll have to wait for clarification, but they've got the gate open at the penalty box, and Shadrin is going to get a 2-minute penalty. So they saw what he did and chose to ignore what Rick Smith did in the way of retaliation. Let's see who gets it now. Shadrin is heading across the ice, number 19.
There's
Here
the
it is.
check.
Here's
Look at
the
that.
check. He boarded him.
Obviously
Plain
charging
old-fashioned
from
boarding.
behind. He took a long time to blow the whistle. This is what made us think this is going to get the penalty.
Okay, so Team Canada now has the manpower advantage. They've got the hull line with McKenzie and Lacroix on the ice. Markow and Paul Schmier, the lone defender. Canada trailing 2-1 here, reaching the 6-minute mark of the third period in Moscow today. Bobby Hull at center ice across the Soviet line. Around Sagankov, right in front. Loose, and they couldn't get the shot on goal as Hull worked it in front. McKenzie and Lacroix couldn't make a play. Now Maltsev. He was stopped by the speed of Paul Schmier, and Mark Howe has it. Howe leading it from McKenzie up the right side. Jams it down against Luchenko. Lacroix with McKenzie, digging it back for Schmier. Schmier had it blocked by Maltsev, but contains it there, maintains his balance, gets it to McKenzie. McKenzie out to Bobby Hull, winding up, blocked by Sagankov. Hull again in front of the goal, and Huff past Lacroix's stick. Cleared to the line, held in by McKenzie. Around behind that Soviet goal. All kinds of pressure now by Team Canada. Mark Howe out to Paul Schmier. To Bobby Hull. Hull shooting, blocked by Tretiak. The rebound is tipped out of danger. They have 40 seconds to go on that Soviet penalty, and back come the Canadians inside the line with Schmier. Works it down the boards, in behind. Luchenko chomps at it. It's on the mesh and off again. Mark Howe out for Bobby Hull. Couldn't control the bouncing puck to get a shot away. All around the Soviet goal, but so far, a frustrating power play for Team Canada. Here's Schmier getting tied up now at center ice against Viculo. They play it across to the open side to Bobby Hull. Steps inside the blue line against Sagankov. Being tied up by Sagankov. Now it's worked free and behind the goal. The Soviets recover, and up they come on the left side with only 5 seconds to go, and the Russian penalty to Shadrin. Soviets have killed. They're checking well now. The center ice area as Hull starts out of the pass with a big air strike to Harvard. He shoots. Great save. Rebound for Gordie Howe, and he couldn't get his stick on it. Gordie Howe with a great chance could not get his stick on the bouncing rebound. The Canadians do everything but score, and the Soviets are finally called for icing.
The Soviets are making it very, very tough in front of their net for our superstars. Just watch what they do to Gordie Howe here, and watch this fantastic save. Keep your eye in front of the net. Look at this from behind. Now watch him hit Gordie with the stick again as he's going down. It's been just a tremendously punishing hockey game in front of both nets.
They'll need at least the 48 hours until the next game to recover. Shot down the ice off a Soviet stick. It is called again for icing against the USSR. We have 11 minutes and 58 seconds to play in the game. And the Soviets, on 2 goals by Alexander Maltsev, lead Canada on a goal by Gordie Howe, 2-1. In fact, they take the actual time down to the fraction of the second, as you see, 11:58 and a half remaining now. Canadians fail to hold it in. Stapleton digs back for it now inside his own zone. With Tremblay, Mahavlich, there's Bernier and Gordie Howe. They form up down the ice. Left side pass from Mahavlich was behind him. It shot inside the line. It'll be called on the offside.
This is what Team Canada's been doing most of the evening. The Russians are picking up the wings extremely well, and we're running ahead, and we're forcing the puck carrier, as Stapleton just did there, to Mahavlich to make the pass. The Russians intercept it.
Vasiliev gets it over now to number 2, Alexander Gusev. He fires it across on the right side. Back into the center again, broken up by Bernier. Bernier to Tremblay. Tremblay away from Mikhailov to Bernier. Bernier shot, screened, and it went wide as Tretiak made the move a little late on that. It slides all the way around the boards and down to the other end. No icing. Matt Stapleton tries to leave it for Bernier. Mikhailov steals and digs it out in front. Bernier, and it rolls. as he was trying to cradle the puck into Cheever's arms, and it rolled just wide, and finally Cheevers did come up with it. Wherever you are across the country, we sincerely hope that you're enjoying Game 5 of the Soviet-Canada series along with us here. The 15,000 spectators at Luzhniki Ice Stadium in Moscow. Among them, most of 3,000 Canadian supporters. Now here's Rick Smith beside his own goal. The Canadians trailing by a goal near the midway mark of this period. Less than a minute to go until they will change ends in the third period to the final 10 minutes. And there's an icing call. Back beside Cheevers will come the face-off. As a matter of fact, these Canadian fans give Moscow the look of Grey Cup week, Howie. In fact, I've seen Grey Cup weeks that were quieter.
Well, they certainly are livening things up here tonight. It's just a pleasure to look over where the Canadian people are sitting and see all kinds of color.
From the face-off, Schmier into the corner, works against the Soviet player Lebedev. He digs it out, and the shot goes wide. Round to the left point. Kept in by Shadlow for Bodanov to Lebedev, and he couldn't relay it for Shadrin. They form up again now. Shadrin got taken down. Here's a hard shot, blocked by Cheevers. Bodanov in the rebound. He could not get the shot as he was turned around by Rick Smith. Smith reacting just in time to save a Soviet goal.
Well, there's Lebedev, who had an excellent chance to put it in. Now watch this. This is what happens under the threat of being hit. See, he gets rid of it pretty quick. He doesn't want to stay around that puck too long because he knows he's going to feel the either the stick or another person's body. So this makes the goaltender's job a lot easier.
We have 30 seconds until the 10-minute mark of the period, and about 5 minutes left in the misconduct for Ralph Backstrom.
I might put in here, too, that the Smith and Schmier have been playing extremely well.
Yes, they have. In fact, the weak point of Team Canada was to be the defense, and in the games against the Soviets, you really cannot say that that was a factor. They played exceedingly well. Here on this big ice surface, with some trouble in their own zone earlier, they seem to have acclimatized themselves very well the last couple of periods. Now here's Stapleton behind his goal, away from Bodanov. Works up to the left side. Bodanov lost his balance, comes over on the right wing for Johnny McKenzie across the line. McKenzie closing in, fell heavily into the back boards. He's all right, getting right up again. Play carries on with McQuaw for Bobby Hull. Can't get his stick on it in time. And number 21, Shadlow, comes up with it. He's pursued by McKenzie as the buzzer sounds to mark the halfway point of this third period. With the score, the Soviets 2 and Canada 1. This is Game 5 from Moscow. This is Don Chevrier with Howie Meeker and Johnny Esau back at Luzhniki Sports Stadium in Moscow as we get set for the final 10 minutes of the third period of this fifth Soviet-Canada game. The Russians ahead by a 2-1 score. Tremblay loops a soft shot that Tretiak handles easily. Turns aside to Yuri Tyerovich. Mikulov on the boards being checked by Bobby Hull. A hard fast drive high and was caught just in time by a somewhat startled Vladislav Tretiak. Hull has scored so many goals in this series from about that point on the ice. The left side, the quick release that he has. He's got 6 goals overall. He leads in scoring so far. Here's Juan now behind the goal, getting it out for Tremblay, and he couldn't get a direct shot on goal. Up to Mikulov, outside the Soviet line. Forced back inside by Johnny McKenzie. Do some good checking there, McKenzie and McQuaw, and work it down to the corner, where now Kirin has it again. He leads a pass up at center ice for Eason. Over to Mikulov across the line, stopping in there to make his play. Now getting set, shooting, a nice shot wide. In front for Maltsev, a tremendous play. No one there to relay it for the USSR. Bobby Hull at center ice chasing it. Chopped down by Lacroix. Hull was trapped offside, and they'll face off. A little under 9 minutes to play in the hockey game. And they'll make line changes. Selwood and Lee coming out now. Along with Rezhan Houle, Serge Bernier, and Frank Mahoffis.
I wish we could show you that last Russian rush on a replay because J.C. Tremblay comes through the middle. Instead of finishing the check, he plays the puck, and as a result, the Russians had just a great opportunity to...
All right, now here's Selwood across the Russian line, shooting it in behind the goal, and Tretiak is there to block the pass. For Harlamov, Trying to break. He now gets to the Petrov offside over 2 lines as Petrov and Mihailov broke 2-on-1 inside the blue line. Reminder that the 6th game is coming up Thursday morning or afternoon, depending on where you live across Canada. Check for the time in your area. And then the final 2 games of this series on Saturday and Sunday from Moscow. Ricky Lee for Serge Bernier. Brad Selwood now. Stopping to make a play to Bernier, and he almost set him up and rolled off his stick to the corner. Bernier for Houle, could not get the pass out to him. Big M, Mahavlich in there. Works it down for Houle. Houle centering it behind Bernier, and now Mihailov breaks out. Soviets are out 2-on-2. On the left side, breaking into the clear. Oh, and a shot by Harlamov is wide. The rebound, they score!
Both teams checking so well, this eventually had to happen. JC a moment ago had a great try at the other end. Now watch the Russian defense move up as you've seen all night. And look at this guy make the move. Could have had the goal himself. Just a great play. It comes off the boards, and who picks it up? The Russian defenseman, and puts it in.
Goal is scored by Gusev. Russians lead it 3-1 now. That goal coming at the 11:48 mark of this 3rd period. 3-1 for the Soviets. Team Canada now has a big job ahead of it to get back into this 5th game. Here is Lebedev at the Canadian line. Swings around behind the goal against one. Sailed it out, and Godnow could not get the shot away. Rick Smith against Shadrin. Shadrin wins it. Smith goes down, waiting for the pass out. And it's picked up instead by Paul Henderson. Henderson with Tom Webster on the right. Across the line, Webster trying to break in. Went down. No call as he tripped over the Soviet player, and the Soviets get it back to center ice on the stick of Lebedev. Now Vodanov stopping inside the blue line. Caught by Henderson. Puck goes to the boards. The Gankov trapped it there. Henderson digs it out to Mike Walton. Walton trying to feed Webster. Rolls it across to Tretiak, and he holds on. They have 7:11 to play, and the Soviets lead now 3-1 on Gusev's insurance goal at 11:48 of this 3rd period.
The Soviets have a pet play when it's obvious that Team Canada has lost possession of the puck in their zone. And the Soviet defenseman goes into the corner to pick it up. Watch for that long pass right from the far corner to the Russian standing up here on the red line. They start away lightning fast. Just amazing.
Gordie Howe trapping it, but not for long as the Soviets break quickly again. Anisin with Vikulov did not make the play. And now Frank Mahavlich will turn and come back for Team Canada center ice. Cross for Howe, couldn't get it to him. J.C. Tremblay works it away from Vikulov across the blue line. Then he lost control. Here's a chance in front of the goal for Markow, and his shot was forced over top.
The Russians are checking extremely well on their own end, and I think the only way we're going to get a goal is to move our defense up as quick as we can. There's lots of open space, but they're picking up our forwards, just so very, very well.
Well, Boris Galegan must be happy. He still doesn't show that he is with that 3-1 lead. Pat Stapleton over to Gordie Howe. Mark Howe and Frank Mahavlich in his offside. .38 remaining in the hockey game. 3-1. The Soviet Union leads Team Canada. Stapleton. J.C. Tremblay with Mahavlich and Markow. Inside the line for Mahavlich. In front, Tretiak blocks that. Tremblay carries on, gets it to Howe. Howe could not make the centering pass out in front. And Stapleton keeps it in at the blue line. Soviets now gain control. Anisin over on the left side towards the Gankov. Up the boards to Maltsev. He could not control the puck, and now Gordie Howe sweeps in for it beside his own goal. To his son, Mark. Off the boards for Tremblay. Tremblay ahead to Markow, and back they come, 3-on-2. Here's Howe inside the line, shooting it, and a glove save. The rebound is loose. In behind for Howe. Howe still with it, can't get it in front. Gordie Howe got taken down. No penalty called there by Sapecki. Howe was hooked in front of the goal. Back come the Soviets. Across the line is Anisin. Stopping. Mahovlich breaks that up, and Howe just dumped Maltsev going by. And then Maltsev trips the Canadian player, Mark Howe, and they finally whistle played out. Both things were ignored, and now Mark Howe is going after the Soviet player in front of the penalty box. But the referee ignored both those flagrant infractions at this end and one at the other end, and may have this game getting out of hand on him.
Well, it's been threatening to erupt all night long, and he has to call some of those penalties, some of the time. Otherwise, you're going to have what happened to Gordie Howe. Obviously a penalty up in there, but he's been letting that type of thing go all night long. But Gordie then skated right by him and just decked the Russian, who was really looking the other way.
Maltsev, yeah.
He gave him a dandy, and Maltsev was nowhere near the puck.
Then when Maltsev was lying on the ice, Mark Howe went by, he tripped him. Let's see.
Here it is right here. Coming down the wing. Just watch how well. There's a great save there. Look at the puck lay loose. If Frank Mahovlich had been skating a little harder, he saw Tricek had the puck in his glove and stopped skating. When it popped loose, by the time he realized he'd be home free, why Tricek had put the rebound in the corner.
Here's Howell, and a shot goes wide. McKenzie goes in after it, can't come up with the puck. Rick Smith on the board, down to Johnny McKenzie over his stick. Now Gusev gets away from the check for McKenzie. Hull to McKenzie, out in front for Lacroix. Bobby Hull now as they put some pressure on. For Johnny McKenzie, McKenzie out in front again. No relay. Hull couldn't get his stick on it. Paul Schmier keeps it in. The Soviets now moving out to center ice. We have 5 minutes and 9 seconds to play in the game. And the USSR leads by a score of 3-1. Vasiliev to Mihailov, into Petrov at center ice. He couldn't make the play to Harlamov. Now Harlamov bats it across. Into the corner. Bobby Hull trying to slow the play down. Can't win the puck. Back on the point for Vasiliev. Loose in front. Smith for Canada. He can't get it out. Here's the shot. And oh, gee, was a great save. As Mihailov was attacked from behind. Six going high in front of that goal now. Oh, and Schmier took down the Soviet player, number 13. Still no penalty. Real wood chopping out there, Howie, and they're not calling a thing. Here is Johnny McKenzie to Bobby Hull. Hull lost the puck behind him. Was bumped by Vasiliev. Vasiliev and McKenzie against the boards. Vashenko, they finally move it out with Petrov. Rough, tough hockey here in the third period in Moscow. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Here's Lebedev now. To the Canadian line. Stopping in there as they're changing on the go. Out to Shagrin. He can't get it. Over to Vodunov. He shoots, and it's just off the glove of Cheevers wide. Rick Smith behind the goal. Canada has the moments when they sag inside the blue line and get a rest up there as the puck goes into the crowd. But unbelievable use of the sticks out there.
I just wouldn't believe it unless I actually saw it. I've never seen such rough, tough hockey and nothing being called. Look at this. Just watch what's going on. It is unbelievable the stick work that's going on, and let me make it clear. By both teams.
Right.
By both. It's just hard to sit here and figure how an official could let this type of thing go. Because it's certainly not part of hockey.
Hopefully it's the last game in the series. Mr. Zepecki will work. Here's Trombley with the body check in the corner. Pat Stapleton now chasing it with 3:44 to play in the game, and the Canadians down by 2. Now he's going to call a penalty against Vodunov, who hooked Pat Stapleton. And believe me, it was the mildest contact we've seen in the last 2 minutes on this ice surface. But there it is. So the Soviets will be a man short. And that is only the, let me add them up here, fourth Soviet penalty of the game.
Well, again, you have to go back just a, there's the hook right there, and certainly, as Don just said, there's been just almost unlimited stick swinging and spearing on out there and charging from behind, and he calls the cheap hooking penalty. It just doesn't make sense.
He thought he had to do something.
Yeah. You have to go back to Cheevers. He just played so very, very well all night. But for his great play, we'd have been out of the game a lot sooner than we were.
3:39. You see the time remaining here. As here in Moscow, it is just past 10 o'clock at night. The Canadians looking for a late rally now with a power play to get back into this game. Pat Stapleton to center ice. Feeds it ahead for Webster, breaking in. Oh, and he couldn't get the shot away as the puck wouldn't lie down as you hear Trepchak. Webster has scored some outstanding goals just like that in this series. Now, back at the Soviet blue line as they try to slow it down. They'll play it down the ice. Cheevers stopping it for Pat Stapleton. Minute 25 seconds to go and the Soviet penalty. Stapleton across to Mike Walton inside the blue line. Walton back for Stapleton off the boards. Lets it go. Loose in front. Webster makes a move and then can't get the shot away as he was tied up by Sagankov, and down he goes. The Soviets clear at the length of the ice. 1 minute, 5 seconds now. Kolagan looking concerned as the Canadian power play forms up again at center ice. Here's Webster across the blue line shooting. Good save. Rebound. Tretiak slides away out to hang on. About 2:38 to play.
There's a good save here by Tretiak, but look at this great move by Walton. Goes for the puck, and instead of going into the Russian goaltender, certainly got up over top of him. Just a great maneuver.
From the face-off, Gordie Howe getting it back for Schmier. His shot was deflected. Howe swings at it, and it was just on the short side. Stopped by Tretiak. Backstrom is back on the ice now from that long rest from the misconduct penalty. To Markow, out to Schmier. Schmier can't control it. Has time to make a play and does to Markow. Howe, cross, bumps off a Soviet player and comes back to center ice. 30 seconds to go in the Soviet penalty now. Canada trailing 3-1 with just over 2 minutes of playing time remaining. Reached the 58th-minute mark of the hockey game. Here is Markov.
There are 2 minutes left to play in the game.
Across the Soviet line. Lost control of it. Gets a shot. He scores! Markov makes it 3-2 with a minute and 50 seconds left. Here it is.
See the Russian there hooked him from behind. He lost control of the puck. Now watch here as he cuts across the blue line and Hull's open all the time on this here left wing. Now watch the Russian. Give him the big hook. Pull him off the puck. The kid fights for it, gets it back on his stick and lets it go. No doubt about it. Had to be screened all the way. Hey, we're back in the ballgame.
Scoring for Team Canada was Mark Howe, number 11. Assist Paul Schmier, number 18.
Schmier gets the assist on it. The time is going to be 18:10. And Team Canada is a goal away here in Moscow.
USSR is now playing at full
And the
strength.
Canadian fans begin to chant, "Go, team, go." They're centered mainly in the end zone, directly behind the Soviet goaltender Tretiak. There it is. Markow, the second goal for Canada. Now from the faceoff, Rezhan Houle could not control a high puck at the Soviet blue line. Bernier coming up with it now, dropping it back to Pat Stapleton. Soviets with that goal are at full strength, and it is whistled down for a faceoff at the Canadian line, being passed off over 2 lines. 1:37 left in the game. 3-2 for the USSR. Billy Harris will be making his changes carefully here and going with his hot hand, changing frequently, no doubt, on the remaining time he has. Bobby Hull, the leading goal scorer in the series, undoubtedly will see some ice time before the remaining minute and 37 seconds run out. Remember, Game 6 coming up on Thursday. Check for the time of the telecast in your area. Canadians taking lots of time, and the officials allowing them to before getting play underway again. Bernier slowly slides up now and wins the faceoff. Gets it out to center ice. Mohammed goes digging after it. Lost out to Vasiliev. Vasiliev and Maltsev, and it's deflected into the corner. Maltsev centering it out. Mohammed has left it there, and Cheevers thought at the last moment. Just got a piece of it off Riculov. Poole can't clear. The Soviets in pressure now. And here's Riculov across in front for Shadrid. Back to Riculov. Being watched by Trombley. Turned around in front for Shadrid. He shoots. And the save made by Jerry Cheevers with 1:11 left in the game. There again is the reason Cheevers that the Canadian team is even in this game.
Now watch him read the situation here. He knows that the Russians can only shoot the puck. There's Canadians on either side of him. So he comes out as the Russians gaining control. As a result, the puck hits him. Really didn't have any room to go in unless he rung it in off the post.
3-2 the Soviets lead. Rick Smith now works it up to the left board to center ice. Spear going after it, leaves it for Bobby Hull. He's on the ice now with McKenzie and McQuaw, but here's Niccolo coming back against Rick Smith, shooting it. Saved by Jerry Cheevers. Another outstanding save. 55 seconds left now as Bobby Hull winds down the left wing against the Gamecocks. It's deflected off the boards into the corner. McQuaw taken down by Shadriv. Now Maltsev. Past Hull. Gets it across the left side for Lutsenko and back to Maltsev. Maltsev trying to kill some time. 35 seconds left now. Soviets go into a defensive shell to try to kill off the remaining time. It's back to the Gamecocks in their own zone. They shoot it back to center ice for Maltsev. He beats it alone against Smith. Going in on goal. He was stopped by Smith. There's no penalty on the play. He slashed it going in and it wasn't called. We've got 15 seconds left now. The play at center ice. Cheevers is out of the goal. They've got 6 attackers out there. Only 8 seconds left, though. It's behind the goal for Paul Speer. Got to get it up there in a hurry. On the right side, sailing down the ice. Just 2 seconds, 1 second. It is all over. The Soviet Union holds on to post a 3-3 over Team Canada 1974. In a rough and at times vicious hockey game here in Moscow tonight. Maltsev put the Soviets ahead in the opening period. Then Gordie Howe tied it up in the second before Maltsev's second goal sent the Russians out of period 2 ahead 2-1. Gusev made it 3-1 at 11:48 of the third period. And then Mark Howe from Spear at 18:10 of this period gave the Canadians a final chance of tying it up. They were never close after Mark Howe's goal.
Here he comes.
Don Chevrier with Howie Meeker and Johnny Esau here as the crowd files out, having witnessed a real rough one tonight, Howie. There's no question about that.
I think the Soviets did just an excellent job of containing some of our big superstars. Bobby Hull, Frank Mahovlich, and Paul Henderson. These are the fellas that are going to have to get us goals if we're going to get any at all, or if we're going to win some hockey games. And tonight they were just dominated by the great checking of that Russian hockey team.
All right, Howie, and now we're getting set to go down to Johnny Esau with Jerry Cheevers.
Thank you, Don. I do have Jerry Cheevers with me, and it must be a very tired Jerry Cheevers. I don't know if you ever had to play a tougher game than that. Jerry had to hold him in there for so long, so early, but it was just a sensational night for you and the club, and yet still missed by only one.
Well, you know, we've been out for 7 days, and, you know, the time adjustment and all that, that's a factor, definitely. But we come back a little stronger in the third period. I think this is probably the toughest game in the series for myself, definitely. They're an excellent hockey team, and I think we're a little stale, and if we can be that close to being stale, you know, it's going to be a super series. So.
Yeah, I think the word stale is a good choice, or a good description there, because it seems that so many times when they're getting those three-man breaks, that there was either 1 or 2 going offside, which is generally a sign that you've missed something in 7 days.
Yeah, it's timing and concentration, all that junk. You know, we've been traveling around, and you know, I don't think those the games against the Finns and Swedes were really, you know, that you know, they weren't that good of hockey teams to really make us, you know, get down for this series. But I think tonight's game certainly did, you know.
Jerry, you've had a groin injury, and I noticed in that first period you had to reach to that top corner 3 times or 4 times, which is usually when you hurt that groin. Did it bother you tonight?
Not really. I mean, you don't think about it out there. It's a little sore, and I know it's going to be sore tomorrow. But a groin, it's something you have to play with. That's all. I mean, as long as I got assurance that it won't get worse, then I'm going to stick in there and play. It's just some part of the game.
You know, you had the 4 games at home, but did you feel a different attitude amongst the players as you came into this rink for the first time?
No, the guys were as up as much as we were anywhere. We knew how important this game was. We have to win no less than 2 games in the next 3, and it's going to be tough. But you know, they did it in 72, and we certainly have a chance here in 74.
Jerry, I want to offer congratulations to you. It was one of the outstanding performances of the series, and there have been so many, but yours is particularly outstanding tonight, and we congratulate you on behalf of all the sport fans watching all across Canada, of course, the millions here in the Soviet Union, and those, of course, in the United States where you're playing.
Thanks, John. Thanks very much.
Jerry Cheevers, who has been the Canadian outstanding player, and now thank you, Jerry. Good luck, Johnny Esau. Let's go back upstairs to Don Chevrier.
Okay, the Soviet outstanding player of the game was Alexander Maltsev, who got 2 of their 3 goals, and of course, unquestionably, Jerry Cheevers was the outstanding star for Team Canada in this 3-2 loss to the Soviet team tonight. Well, that's the story from Moscow, then. This is Don Chevrier, on behalf of Howie Meeker and Johnny Esau, saying good night from Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow.
Game 5 of the Canada-Soviet series, coming to you live from Moscow.